Hello everybody, it's Julia here from the Highly Sensitive Tarot, and I'm back today with a VR. Feeling a little bit better than I did last week, so that's good news. Got a bit more energy back and a bit less pain, so I think I'm on the mend. So, and thank you so much to everybody, actually. I really just must say thank you so much to everybody who was very kind and said kind things and encouraging things and sent me lots of big gentle hugs. I really appreciate that, so thank you to everybody. So this tag is called hashtag Cards and Creativity, and it's by the lovely Teresa at Coffee and Tea with Mama Tea. And I've also seen this VR on Cara's channel at Lady Cara channel. Lady Cara Tarot, and I shall link both in the description box. So I think what this VR is about really is having a good look at creativity and how it manifests in your life. It's a kind of exploration of creativity, or even a meditation on creativity, looking at it from all different angles. And there are 10 prompts. I shall put them in the description box. And it was really interesting actually to see that Teresa used all oracle cards, and I thought that was a nice idea, so that's what I'm going to do today. We don't often, do videos just using all oracle cards, or I don't anyway. Usually my tarot cards are the decks that I sort of reach for, so it was nice. And what I've done is I've just pulled 10 decks out, 10 oracle decks, and I've assigned them randomly to the prompts. I know Teresa used her dice and her pendulum and things. I have just assigned them randomly. So we'll see how it goes. It will be interesting. Maybe my intuition was leading me towards certain prompts with certain decks without me even knowing, so it would be interesting to see. So prompt number 1 is called Face It, and it says reflect on yourself, who you are today, and how you place yourself in the world as a creative being. And I've chosen for this the Power Animals deck by Stephen Farmer. This deck here, which I've had for a long time, I think maybe even 20 odd years. So let's have a shuffle and think about who I am today and how I place myself in the world as a creative being. If I could have a card that reflects that, please. I'll be a while with the shuffling, I think, in this video, and I'm not good enough at editing to speed it up, I'm afraid. So, who am I today, and how do I place myself in the world as a creative being? So, snake. Wow. Healing. You are a healer. Wow. What did we get at the bottom of the deck? Pelican. Forgiveness. Interesting. When I first turned that over and I saw snake, I thought, oh, blimey, that's not good, is it? But actually, snake represents lots of different things, doesn't it? And I think we've just come out of the year of the snake, haven't we, in Chinese astrology? Let's just have a look at what it says in the guidebook for this. So the healing gifts you possess are not actually yours. They emanate from divine spirit and are grounded in your body. And it is through your body that this force is focused and expressed. The two areas that are hotspots for this concentration of life force are your heart and your hands. So pay attention to those areas and do whatever you must to keep them energetically clear. An effective way to clear your heart and hands is to purge them by bathing with white light and allowing whatever psychic debris has been rinsed off with the light to drain down your spine and legs and out through the soles of your feet into Mother Earth. Don't fear your healing power. It is your destiny to relieve the suffering of others, and as you do so, you transform your own suffering from this and other lifetimes into compassion and love, which is the purest expression of life energy you can have. That is healing, no matter what the form is. The more open you remain, the more the master power of the universe can come through you and create miracles. Blimey. Well, do you know, my entire life really has been dedicated to the healing of others. And since I've retired in the last few years, it has been dedicated towards healing myself. That's so interesting, isn't it? So it was reflect on yourself, who you are today and how you place yourself in the world as a creative being. Well, that really is my strength. You know, when I think about creativity, I think about people who can paint and draw and sing and dance and, I don't know, sculpt, all sorts of things like that. And I'm not really much good at any of those things, really. I think I've got quite a good sense of colour. And I like to decorate my home nicely. I like to be creative at home, but I can't draw, I can't sing. Do you know what I mean? But what I can do is I'm good with people. And I always have been. And people tend to want to talk to me and tell me things. And I've recognised that from quite a young age. People have told me that my voice is quite healing, that my voice is quite soft. Yeah, wow, that's really, really nice to see that, actually. I think that is really where my creativity comes from, certainly. It comes from my heart chakra and my compassion and my empathy for life and for people and for animals and for the world. And I think another place that my creativity comes out actually is in my garden. I absolutely love gardening, having my hands in the muck and growing flowers and vegetables and I think for me, that's healing for me. That's where I get a lot of my healing back, is through my garden. So, yeah, wow, that's really interesting. Right, I'm going to keep the cards on the table. And when I get to the end of all 10 prompts, I shall lay them all out and we'll have a look at them all. I hope this video is not going to take too long. So prompt number 2 is rest, an invitation from your soul to let your mind and body rest, to energize and prepare for creative output. And I chose the healing cards by the lovely Caroline Miss. Whoops. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause while I shuffle throughout this video. Okay, so time to choose. So we have: the world lives and breathes and we can draw its spirit into us. Ah, interesting. The sun. Think rolling waves, warm sun, wet grass, fresh earth, crowded elevator, busy streets, birds singing. Get into all the sensations of life today. You don't need a lengthy meditation to connect to nature, just draw it in. Well, I would have to say, if this is about rest and an invitation from your soul to let your mind and body rest and energize itself, the sun for me. I find this time of year so difficult. I think I've said before that we've not seen the sun really for this entire year, I don't think, in the UK. It has been overcast and rained every single day. It is today, and I've had to bring in another lamp for the table because I just don't think I'd get enough light otherwise. So I hope it's not causing a glare, but yeah, this is talking about the sun, the sea. To be honest, busy streets and crowded elevators are not places where I'm going to rest and energize myself. I find those kind of places very overwhelming. But the seaside, on a calm day, not on a rough, stormy day, but on a calm day, the sun, the wet grass, the fresh earth, the birds singing, all of those sensations are like a tonic for me. They are good for me, mind, body and soul completely. So that's fantastic. I'm loving this actually, the cards that I'm pulling. Right. So prompt number 3, growth, an invitation from your muse to expand or deepen your creative process. And I have chosen the Goddess Dream for this, so I'm just going to get it out and give it a shuffle. Okay, so how can I expand, or how can I expand or deepen my creative process? We have inspiration, begin now, with serenity at the bottom. Be calm, I definitely need that one. So inspiration, begin now. Number 18. So this is how to expand or deepen my creative process. So it says, Bridgie is the instigator. She comes to you saying the time is now. If there's something you've been putting off, something that you've been thinking about, she's here to inspire you into action. At the end of winter in nature, she comes to wake the sleeping world. She is the spark of life that calls all things to begin to grow. The sap begins to rise in the trees and below the ground. Roots and shoots appear. In the same way, she is calling you to unfurl your full potential. Feel her reawaken and activate your dreams and plans. The stirring may be small to begin with and gradually build, or she may come like a blazing arrow to ignite your fire of creativity in a frenzy of excitement. She encourages the sun to rise. Look at this, look. Warming the land and melting the snow. Let her encourage your creativity and drive away the dull lethargy that may have been keeping you stuck in a static, wintry world. What have I just been saying? Are you ready to be filled with vitality? She calls hibernating creatures from their sleep, so she may well call new acquaintances into your life. She's working to create opportunities for you to grow, and it is up to you to recognize them and take them. There is nowhere that the warmth of Bridgie's flame cannot reach. Let her light up your life with inspiration and possibilities. So, I'm taking this, that she is spring, and spring, the waking up of the earth, the waking up of the sun, that's going to be my muse, isn't it? To deepen or expand my creative process, which is everything that I've just been saying, isn't it, really? Wow. There is some synchronicities going on here with these cards, isn't there? Blimey. Right, prompt number 4. Getting honest, the emotional impact of creative work and being an aware human in the world. Excuse me, and I have chosen the Quiet Rebel Oracle for this, so I'll give it a shuffle. Okay, so what is the emotional impact of creative work and being an aware human in the world? Loophole. Work around. Ew. What is that? Loophole. Let me have a look in the book because I have no idea what that really means. Loophole. There is always an alternative route, even if it's not immediately visible. The card suggests that flexibility and ingenuity may be needed to reach your goals. Sometimes the most effective solutions aren't the most obvious ones. So think creatively and look for a workaround that sidesteps obstacles. When facing challenges, know there are hidden opportunities and paths waiting to be discovered. Trust in your resourcefulness and willingness to adapt, and with the right mindset, you'll find that what seemed like a barrier is simply an invitation to find a new way forward. Obstacles are not always the end of the road. The loophole card invites you to adopt a mindset of creative problem solving. There is often an alternative route that allows you to bypass a challenge. This card asks you to be flexible and open-minded when facing difficulties. Rather than giving up, trust that your resourcefulness will reveal hidden opportunities. A workaround may not be immediately obvious, but with patience and ingenuity, you will find a solution that moves you forward, often in unexpected and rewarding ways. So I mean, I would consider myself to be an aware human in the world. You know, I have a curious mind. I read extensively. I don't watch the news. I don't buy newspapers. I don't take any notice of any of the mainstream nonsense that goes on in the world. I do my own research. And I think that I find a lot of things that are going on in the world quite abrasive and quite toxic and quite sad and difficult a lot of the time, and it feels like a heavy energy, and I think that sometimes definitely will interfere with my ability to be creative. It's kind of a block, isn't it, when you're feeling heavy under the weight of energy. But I think what this is encouraging me, it's saying that there's a declaration here. It says, I trust in my ability to find creative solutions to any challenge, and I am open to alternative paths that lead me to my goals. So I think what this is encouraging me is that there's always a solution to any block or to the emotional impact that you face in life. And it sometimes takes you to be creative to find that. And maybe just to be trusting and willing to be flexible and adaptable also. This is a difficult one, isn't it? What have we got in this picture? We've got like a loop and some keys. I think what this is really saying to me is that despite the fact that I'm a sensitive being, that I have a sensitive nervous system, that I struggle with a lot of heavy energy, that my ability to see hope and kindness and love and all of those things in the world also, I think they're the things that enable me to, my open-mindedness often enables me to be able to cope with some of these things and talk to myself in a quite honest and realistic fashion about life. So yeah, this is saying obstacles are not the end of the road, and that you need to have a mindset of creative problem solving. Well, I think that I do. I think that despite my sensitivities, I am able to do that. I'm often able to see all the different points of view and perspectives in things and find my own way. So yeah, I think that's what that's saying to me, really. So prompt number 5 is an invitation to experience flow or the excitement in the creative process. And for this, I have chosen a deck that I have not reached for in such a long time. And it is this one. It's called the Chakra Insight Oracle. And it's a huge deck. I shall give it a shuffle. So what is an invitation for me to experience flow or excitement in the creative process? Ooh. Ooh. Through sexuality, through the openness and sharing. Wow, I'm going to get in trouble for this, aren't I? I'm going to put a bell on there. That's the first thing I had to reach for. Openness, sharing, beauty and honour. Oh, wow. I did not expect for that to come out. And at the bottom of the deck, we've got intelligence. I'd have rather for this video that intelligence came through. So an invitation to experience flow or excitement in the creative process. And we've got sexuality, which is card number 13. So it says, it's time to express and experience your passions and desires, to honour the power of your sexual energy as a sacred creative life force, not only in your union with another, but also in your life. On the surface level, this card is an invitation to become aware of and communicate your sexual values, needs and wants with your partner. Honour your true feelings about sex and sexuality. On a deeper level, it is time to raise your awareness of the divine aspects of your sexual energy, to acknowledge yourself as a sexual being, not as a popular culture perceives it, but as a pure expression of creative life force in all aspects of your being. It's time to become comfortable with the unique essence of your physical form, who you are, your colouring and textures, the way you dress, your fragrance, your body language. Seek to recognise and feel this divine energy in your intimate partner as well as yourself. Lots of stuff there that I probably don't want to say on camera. Anyway, how I'm going to take this, because currently I'm actually single. I don't have a partner at the moment, but I'm hoping that that will change very soon. I'm sorry, I don't know what's going on with my video. I can see that the light is... What is going on there? I don't know what that is about, why that's doing that. I hope it hasn't been doing that all the way through this video. I'm just adjusting my lamp to see if that makes any difference, but oh dear. Perhaps it's all this talk of sexuality. Oh, I hope that that stops. Anyway, how I'm going to take this is to experience this flow or this excitement in the creative process, to maybe look at myself and how I feel about my body, the way that I dress, the way that I conduct myself, how I am around other people, and that maybe it would do me good to have a partner in my life again. So yeah, I think that's what I'm going to say about that. So let's put that over there. We'll cover up the booby. It's still Oh, it's still doing it, isn't it? I am sorry. I hope that's not too annoying to watch. It may not come through in the video, but I can see the light going up and down. So prompt number 6 is hurdles. How to approach the inevitable blocks, meltdowns, obstacles that we all experience. So for this, I have chosen the Soul Journeys lesson cards, and I shall give them a shuffle. Okay, so how do I approach the inevitable blocks, meltdowns and obstacles of life? Service. Well, wow, these cards are on fire for me today, I think. We've got denial at the bottom. Service. I feel good when I can help others. And this is so true. This is so true. I think that reinforcement that I get from being able to do that is so important to my self-esteem and my ability to be creative. So let's have a little read about this. One of the most evolved gifts that a soul possesses is of giving itself. There is a reason why it feels good to give. It's because your soul resonates with that vibration. And we've got this snake here that will vibrate with its healing energy, haven't we? Your soul should be aware that it might currently be in a situation in which it needs to be fulfilled on higher levels, and this can only happen through the attribute of humbly serving and supporting others. Put yourself in a position in which you can benefit another soul in any way possible and demonstrate unconditional love towards others. Look around and see how you can serve another. Perhaps one way would be asking a friend if you can help clean up his or her office or run errands. Maybe volunteer to watch your neighbour's kids so the parents can have a night out. Maybe make a meal for someone who might be sick, or perform an activity that enriches someone else's life. Well, as I said, that's something that I've been doing really all my grown-up life. And yeah, I mean, it's a very simple thing, really. I like to be of service. I like to be helpful. I'm a Virgo, and I think the word service is a key word, isn't it, for Virgo? Virgos like to be in service. So with the healing card I've got here of the snake, that is really no surprise to me at all. That's brilliant. And I think that it just does me good generally to get me out of myself, because, you know, when you're quite sensitive and you're not well a lot of the time, it can be very easy to just get stuck in your own reality, and that's not always very helpful, is it? So anyway, prompt number 7 is the blues. As muse, as an invitation to retreat and rest, as an experience in dormancy. Dormancy is what I've written down. What have we got for that? We have got the Soul's Lesson cards. So the blues, as a muse, as an invitation to retreat and rest. So how, yeah, okay, I'll give a shuffle. Okay, so this is an invitation to retreat and rest as an experience in dormancy, and how that might help my creativity. Express your joy. Interesting. Don't push the envelope at the bottom. So let's have a read. I'm not sure if I'm totally getting this question, if I understand it properly. Card number 60. It says, your gentle spirit is radiating light and love to the world as you embrace the true meaning of who you are, a divine child of the universe. you're recuperating from the negative and unconscious energies of the five sensory world and accepting your divine birthright. Your soul's purpose right now is to allow the divine inner child in you to take over and lead your life. Recapture the spirit of curiosity and play and let your spontaneous self guide you. See the world with fresh eyes, discover what's beautiful, entertaining and fun, and go after it without restraint. You're the being appointed to serve as a role model for the new millennium by demonstrating that suffering and self-denial are not morally superior choices. Let the world feel your joy, for it is contagious and lifts all that you touch. Interesting. I like this is saying a divine child of the universe, and it was just making me think really that children when they're tired, they lay down and they go to sleep, don't they? Or a healthy child will do, you know, not one that's determined to keep fighting through that tiredness. But children generally, when they're tired, will say that, and you'll know that, and they lay down and they go to sleep, and they restore themselves through that sleep. They feel energized and awake, and that sleep does help them to express their joy. And I think that's something that I've had to learn as I've got older, is to give in to those needs rather than to fight them. You know, when I was younger and working and had a family, no matter how fatigued I was, I would keep pushing myself, and really all that happens is that you just deplete your energy further, and you would definitely therefore deplete your creativity in the world. So perhaps this is saying that in order for me to be able to express my joy and my creativity, is that I need to go back to more of like a childlike state, really, and allow my body to do what it needs to do. It says you're recuperating from the negative and unconscious energies of the five sensory world. So this is basically telling you that it's important to have time out from the toxicity of the world, really, and to express your joy in whatever way is necessary. And for me to be able to do that, I certainly need to have times of dormancy and times of rest and retreat. In fact, lots of that time, actually. So I'm not entirely sure I've answered that question properly, because I'm not entirely sure I understood the prompt, but there we go. So prompt number 8 is the shadow. It says light exists alongside shadow, and they lend beauty and contrast to each other. So this is how to allow your shadow to speak through creativity. And for this, I've chosen the Psy Cards, which are a very interesting little deck. And so that I didn't have to use the guidebook quite so much, I actually wrote a lot of little prompts on these cards. So let's see how we go with this. I'll shuffle them. Okay, so how can my shadow speak through creativity? And we have peace. Very nice. So I've written there, everyday tranquility, radical self-acceptance, managing stress, spiritual growth, finding your path, and freedom from guilt and shame. So I don't think I need the guidebook particularly for this, do I? You know, much of my shadow actually is wrapped up in guilt and shame about certain things. I think part of my shadow is probably perfectionism, like it is for a lot of us. And I think when you have chronic ill health, when you're sensitive like I am, when your nervous system is easily overwhelmed, You know, it's very, very easy to talk down to yourself and tell yourself you're stupid or you're bad or why can't you cope? Whatever's the matter with you, everyone else can do it. Why can't you? Why, you know, why are you such a big girl? Why do you have to keep going to bed and resting? And why do you have to do this? And why do you have to do that? And come on, get on with it. You can hear, can't you? These are things that I've said to myself a lot over the years. And ultimately, it's just so destructive and self-sabotaging and counterproductive, isn't it, to talk down to yourself? And so for me, I think having the ability to have everyday tranquility and peace and quiet, to be able to manage my stress, to manage my energy, to have some radical self-acceptance, which these days I do. You know, I actually like myself these days, and I didn't ever used to. I know who I am. I know my limits. I know my strengths. I know in my heart I'm a good person. And I know actually these days what my path is. You know, it was no surprise here to see service. It was no surprise to see healing. It was no surprise to see my resourcefulness and my flexibility and adaptability. It was no surprise to see the sun and nature here. So I know who I am. I know what's good for me and what's not. And I think that inner peace really does help me to be creative, because I'm not constantly at war with myself. You know, I can express myself in a way that feels comfortable these days. So yeah, that's a good card. I'm pleased with that. So prompt number 9 is the grey area. We're not nearly 40 minutes, not doing too bad. So the grey area, dealing with ambiguity, uncertainty, discomfort in the creative process. And for this, I have chosen the Forest of Enchantment Oracle, which I hope will be a good choice. I don't know. So let's give it a shuffle. Okay, so how do I deal with ambiguity, uncertainty, and discomfort in the creative process? We have brownies and bees. These cards are so beautiful. I'm going to have to read from the book for this because I have no clue what that means, except nature to me. It's nature, isn't it? 31. Of all the beings in the forest, brownies have the reputation for being the most practical, busiest, and most industrious. If you need some assistance, call upon a brownie for quality work with a cheerful attitude. One of their most successful cooperative arrangements is with the bees, who of course are also known for their busy industry. The two communities come together at the hive to coordinate the gathering of honey. Oh, the job above all, they share a true love of their work, which is both vocation and avocation. A job well done with a real appreciation of excellence is its own reward. Working together in mutual respect reinforces both collective and individual satisfaction. So whatever it is that you do your very best. Pursue excellence, not perfection. Have compassion for your limitations, but push right up to them. Working in collaboration is often the best way to call forth gifts in everyone. Share your skills and praise the skills of others. So, I think what this is saying really is to deal with challenges and discomfort in any creative process is to share that, you know, to do my best, not strive for perfection, which is something that will inevitably make me feel bad because we're not perfect. So have some compassion for my limitations, but work hard, work in collaboration, share my skills and praise the skills of others. I think, I think that resonates quite strongly actually, because I think I do. I think that when I'm uncertain or uncomfortable or I'm not sure, I generally will ask. I'll generally share that with somebody. And obviously being a Virgo, I like to do my best. So yeah, I think that resonates quite well. So the last prompt here is, put that under there. The last prompt is the black and white, an invitation to commitment, decisive action and confidence. And for this I've chosen the Angel Answers Pocket Oracle, because this gives you some quite decisive little answers, this deck. So let's give it a shuffle. Okay, so an invitation to commitment, decisive action and confidence regarding my creative abilities. We have let go. Aha, see, that doesn't surprise me at all either. I feel sometimes that I can be too controlling with myself, which obviously puts limits on what I can and can't do. And it's difficult because in some ways I need to have those limits because I need to manage my energy. But I can sometimes go too far with that and sometimes not allow myself to be open to possibilities and to let go. So let's just read what this says very quickly. It says, the time has come to let go of the situation. Stop focusing on how or when it will be solved or why it occurred. A key aspect to manifesting your desires is to ask for what you want and then release it to heaven. If you've drawn this card, you may be holding on too tightly to the way your dreams will unfold. Make a wish and leave the rest to the angels. And I think what that's saying is that I need to sometimes just learn to trust the process a bit more rather than trying to manage the process. And through that letting go of, see, I've got that boobies come out again. But through letting go and trusting in the process, that I will find that my creativity flows better, I guess. So there we go. There's all my cards. And it's interesting, isn't it? Just looking at all of these together, how similar the colour palette is. Because I've used decks that are extremely colourful. Like, for instance, this Soul's Journey deck. Look at how colourful that is. Lots of these decks I've used are very colourful, and yet we have a lot of yellow and orange and green, a little bit of red here, one card with some purple, but all the cards have got purple in for this deck. But everything else, there's a lot of yellow, orange, green and a little bit of red, isn't there? All kind of lower chakras, I guess, aren't they? Up to the heart chakra. Yeah. And I guess that's a lot of where creativity comes from, isn't it? Your solar plexus, your heart chakra. For me, I often think that my creativity comes through my voice, through my throat chakra, but we don't have that here. But it's just interesting, isn't it? I've just noticed that, we've got all this orange and yellow and green, orange and yellow and green, a lot of that here, a lot of that here. Anyway, this was lovely. I really enjoyed this, and I think the cards I pulled really resonate. I can really feel these cards. They make a lot of sense to me. It's quite an accurate picture of who I am, actually, generally. And I'm sorry about the sexuality card. But that has made me laugh. And there's possibly some truth in that anyway. I've been single for quite a while now, so yeah, enough said about that. Anyway, this was lovely. Thanks so much to Teresa, and sending everybody my love, and I will see you all again soon.